Derek Floyd, pianist, interviewed at piano.
Up until I started doing cruises 4 years ago, I didn't know much about a cruise ship at all, much less a cruise life, because my life was on land.
Vocalist Esther Dyer, interviewed in nightclub.
You're getting paid to do what you love, which is music, plus the perks of travel. What more could you ask for?
Montage of musicians and singers playing in various venues, followed by dancers and production shows.
For more than 50 years, Princess Cruises has been entertaining audiences around the world. From the power and glamour of major stage productions to the intimacy of small clubs, musicians remain an integral part of Princess Entertainment. In fact, your history as a musician is imperative to us. It defines your future as well as ours.
Sterling Howell, vocalist, interviewed in nightclub, followed by Sterling performing on stage.
Music is something I was born into. And when I started doing ships, I didn't really like it at first, but I eventually fell in love with it, and that was it. I just kept doing ships after that.
Jazz band on stage, followed by Tom Baker, trumpet player, interviewed in Princess Theater.
My first gig was with Gladys Knight and the Pips. I was 16 years old. I was a high note kid, right? So get the kid for the high notes.
Alex Zapaticki, DJ, interviewed in nightclub, followed by Alex playing music for people dancing.
I decided I didn't want to sit inside a booth all day in one room in a radio station. Although it was great, it was a great experience, but I wanted to travel.
Jazz band on stage as Tom Baker, trumpet player, continues.
50 years, road bands. Stan Kenton's band, Tommy Dorsey band, Buddy Rich's band, living on a bus, one-nighters across America.
Saxophonist Steve Dart performs on stage and is interviewed in the Piazza.
I was recruited right out of college. The guy at head office came to school to do some auditions. At the time, I was kind of looking to see, what can I do after college. The hustle started to get a little too much. I had to teach as well, 8 or 9 hours a week. Top that off with gigs that went into about 3 in the morning. So when I started doing this gig, it started to ease down a lot, and I've been with the company for almost 6 years now.
Tom Baker continues his interview, followed by rock band on stage.
I can see the writing on the wall. Freelance music business, it was going away. And here's these ships with musicians and shows every night, consistently, bang, bang, bang. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot, and I'm glad I did.
Michael Kujalski, bass player and music manager, interviewed in nightclub and playing in jazz band.
I started playing music a little late in life. I managed to get into the Eastman School of Music in Rochester, New York, and got a degree in jazz studies. Then I moved to New York City and pursued my master's degree, also in jazz studies, double bass performance. But a friend of mine, who I had gone to grad school with, had just gotten back from a career with Princess. He gave me a recommendation. I sent my resume in, and I think it was about a couple weeks later I was on a ship in Alaska.
Title card, Challenges at Sea.
As with any job or environment, there are challenges to overcome. And at Princess
ship sailing under Golden Gate Bridge.
We understand the realities of living and working at sea.
Guests jogging aboard ship.
And we pride ourselves on ensuring that our employees' needs are always well supported.
Alex, the DJ, sitting in club, continues interview.
Sometimes you sign on for 6 months straight, so you're going to be away from home for 6, maybe 8 months straight. If you have something or somebody at home that you may miss over 6 months, that'll be a big problem.
Royal Princess ship at sea.
Be prepared for a semi-military environment. This is a maritime gig. We're sailors.
Tom Baker continues interview.
So that's part of it.
The big challenge
Renan Pinedo, guitarist, performs on stage and is interviewed.
Is being a part of the family. I think that's the only challenge we have, because in general, it's a good life.
Drummer Naoki Matsuda is interviewed in the Piazza and performs on stage.
It has good side and bad side, because after you finish your gigs, you still have to stick around with your band members. Sometimes it's really good. You can hang after a gig, but sometimes after you have a hard time on the gig and you still have to be with them, so sometimes it's hard.
Steve Dart, saxophonist, continues interview.
Sometimes you have a roommate who's much older than you, sometimes much younger than you, maybe your own age, and obviously from a much different country. So the key is just to be as flexible as possible.
Title card, Seasick? Derek Floyd, pianist, sitting at piano being interviewed.
I was a little intimidated by the fact that I may get on a ship and get seasick. I'd never been on a ship before. And so that was the one thing that haunted me the most. But I discovered that I loved it out here. I'm one of those that can look at the sea, at the ocean, and just stare at it.
Couple gazing out at sea from ship railing.
And then 30 minutes, 40 minutes later, I'm still staring at it. It has a very peaceful, calming, reassuring effect on me.
Title card, Perks, on board and ashore. Photo of Robert Louis Stevenson, followed by Royal Princess in Caribbean.
Scottish novelist and poet Robert Louis Stevenson once wrote that he traveled not to go anywhere, but simply to go. The great affair is to move.
Aerial view of Princess ship in Istanbul, Turkey.
And best of all, Princess moves everywhere.
Sterling Howell, vocalist, interviewed in nightclub, followed by images of Russian church, kangaroo in Australia, and volcano in Hawaii.
I'm from a Caribbean island, Trinidad and Tobago, so that's a very exotic island. So to me, that's one of my favorite countries in the world. But there's places that I've been to that I've never thought I would have gone to, working on ships like Russia, Germany. I've been to Australia, Hawaii. I was like crazy when I got there. It was like a dream come true.
Image of Great Pyramid, followed by Michael, interviewed in club.
I went inside the Great Pyramid, and that's something that was afforded to me, because of this job and because of music.
Images of Alaskan mountains and whale breaching, followed by vocalist Menadora Dihau, interviewed in restaurant.
I did enjoy it very much, Alaska. Very cold, but beautiful, sea life, animals, cold weather, mountains, glaciers. So it is an experience.
Steve Dart, saxophonist, continues interview in Piazza, followed by images of Princess swimming pool.
As staff, you're allowed most of the amenities on board. You can make your way around the ship and take advantage of all the things the passengers are doing.
Vocalist Esther Dyer continues interview in nightclub, followed by images of ship restaurant, theater, and gym.
We're able to use the guest gym, we're able to eat at the restaurants, we're able to attend the shows. It's pretty nice.
Derek Floyd, pianist, interviewed at piano, followed by images of the piazza, guests walking on deck, bartender laughing with guests.
I am at home on this ship because it feels almost like a small city in itself, except you don't have to get lost because it's just from one end to the next. The place almost from time to time feels like home. And though I get sort of homesick every so often, depending on how long I've been here, this is my second home.
Title card, accommodations. Princess ship in Alaska.
Musicians are all in what we call double berth cabins.
Michael Kujawski, bass player, describes musician's cabin, followed by images of cabin.
So this is a double berth cabin. It's a bunk bed cabin. Everyone has a closet, and there's a bathroom with a shower, a sink, and a toilet. One of the more unique parts of the job is sharing a room, but in my experience, 5 years as a musician, it's led to some very fruitful relationships and some lifelong friendships.
Title card, advice. Sterling Howell, vocalist, and Esther Dyer, vocalist, on stage with band and guests dancing, mixed with Sterling and Esther interviews.
Princess Cruises provide the best of everything, and they want the best entertainment. So when you're getting here, you have to be prepared to give the best that you could give.
You're gonna get clients from China, you're getting clients from Spain, clients from the US, Canada, Europe, and they're going to ask you for songs So it's important to expand your repertoire as much as you can, because coming here, 200 songs might not be enough.
Derek Floyd, pianist, performing at piano followed by interview.
I think if you just allow yourself to send off that demo or that CD and not try to be too gimmicky or not try to say what works good out here, so I'm going to put that in there, but that's not really me. They know what they're looking for. And they're looking for honesty, they're looking for sincerity, they're looking for someone who might be able to work with others that aren't on some high horse because they're out here just to be a star. This is a team playing project here. We all work together, we all encourage each other, we all lift each other up, and that's what's important if you're going to be part of a team.
Title card, Love of Music. Illustration of Ray Charles followed by various images of performers aboard a Princess ship.
Ray Charles once quipped that music was his blood, his food, his water. And we get what Ray was talking about. In fact, we believe that all musicians share the same passion. And one of the best things about a music career on one of our incredible ships is that you will be constantly employed as a vital and very busy musician. You will have the chance to evolve and grow as an artist.
It's almost like having a scholarship of time.
Michael Kujawski, bass player, continues interview followed by band on stage.
You know you have your job at night and you have a steady income, so you have the ability to practice and rehearse, to get together with the other guys, run arrangements, and do things that would either be more difficult or costlier than, let's say, if you were, living in New York City or something like that.
Sterling Howell, vocalist, continues interview followed by various musicians performing on ship.
The beautiful thing of being on a ship is that you're able to do a lot of different genres of music. You could do a ballad, a swing, a pop song, a country, a rock and roll. It helps give you that musical inspiration to do you could do anything,
Minadora D. Howell, vocalist, performing on stage followed by interview.
You don't have to worry what's going to happen, where am I going to gig in a week time or in a month time. As long as you really love what you're doing and you're doing your job great, then you have absolutely nothing to worry working on Princess Cruises.
Title card. It's about the audience, our guests.
Since the very beginning, before it was cool to be a cruise ship entertainer,
Archival 1967 footage of Irish dancer aboard old Princess ship, followed by performers aboard today's modern ships.
we have always put our guests, which is your audience, first. It's simple. At Princess, entertaining our guests is job number one. And for musicians across the fleet, sharing the joy of music with people around the world can be a thrilling opportunity.
Sterling Howell, vocalist in Nightclub, shares a personal story.
We were doing Stevie Wonder's I Just Call to Say I Love You. And the dance floor was packed, people were dancing, but there was this one woman, she was in the back crying. And I just couldn't understand why she was crying. And after the performance, she told me her husband took her to a Stevie Wonder concert before he passed away. And I just made her felt so good being on the cruise, doing that song. And that was something that stuck with me for a long time. To just imagine a song could touch someone's soul and make them feel that way. So those are the beautiful things of being on a cruise ship.
Sea Witch wipes across screen.